Hello and welcome to another video from Sorare Assist. So most leagues are now finished, so what we're going to concentrate on apart from the American and Asian leagues? Well, we do have the Euros to look forward to, and I'll be highlighting the best players for the summer tournament. I'll be highlighting all the top selections from premium to budget options, so make sure that you stay tuned. Before we get into it, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel, and ping that notification bell to be alerted about any new videos or content from me. Doing all these really helps support the channel and helps YouTube become my best friend. If you're not signed up to Sorare yet, you can do that by using the link in the description below to get yourself 10 common cards and 1 free rare card to get you off to the right start. So let's get stuck into today's content. So in this video series, I'll be concentrating on Euro 2021 players, but there is also the Copa America as well in the summer, and I've done a separate video on that, which you can find a link in the description below for the recommended players for that tournament. So on to the Euro 2021 players then. All these players have started most of the games for the country in the Euro 2021 qualifiers and the recent World Cup qualifiers, so look to be the first team regulars for their country. These players were also showing fantastic stats for the country and look capable of good scores at the Euros. First, let's look at the tournament favourites. So as you can see at the time of recording, England were the favourites, joint favourites actually with France, closely followed by Belgium. Then we have Spain, Germany, Portugal, Italy, Netherlands. So as you can see, it's the usual suspects there really, who are the favourites in this tournament. I'll be going through the premium to budget options in each group where I managed to find an applicable player. Last week I highlighted goalkeepers, and this week I'm going to be concentrating on the defenders. I'll only be highlighting players that are available to purchase on Sorare at the time of recording. I'll be starting with Group B today. First, let's have a look who the favourite is in Group B. As you can see, Belgium is the favourite here, quite a heavy favourite as well. Not far behind though is Denmark, and then not far behind them we have Russia, and Finland look the least favourite to get through this group. So let's have a look at the players that I've selected from this group then, the defenders. So first up I've got Georgiy Dzhikiya from Spartak Moscow. So he's 27, he does play at centre back and left back. So let's have a look at some of his form in the European Championships qualifiers. As you can see, he's got some good ratings here on SofaScore. He's also started all 10 of the games, scored 1 goal and 0 assists. He has a high number of passes, which is good, and a high number of accuracy as well. And they also kept 7 clean sheets, Russia, in the qualifiers. And he's also shown good goal threat as well, as highlighted here. 1 shot per game on average in the 10 games that he played in the European Championships qualifiers. So it does look a very good option, potentially a cheap option as well. In the recent World Cup qualifiers, he started all 3 games, and again he's showing good pass accuracy there and high number of passes. So it does look a very viable option, and it could potentially be a cheap option. I think Russia have got a good chance of getting a couple of good results in this group, and they potentially have a chance of progressing as well. So next up we've got another Russian player, and that is Mario Fernandes. Another defender, a bit more of an attacking right back here though. Let's have a look at his qualifying stats. So again, good overall form there. Played 8 games, scored 1 goal. He's got high passing numbers again and good pass accuracy as well, which is fantastic to see. So it does look a good prospect, and he has got 1.5 shots per game as well, so there is the goal threat there as well. Plays CSKA Moscow of course, and he is a decent player in general for Sorare, so he is one that you can maybe purchase for the Euros, but also with next season in mind. Next up we have a player from Denmark, a defender, and that is Daniel Wass. Currently plays for Valencia. If we look at some of his form in the European qualifiers, he played 2 of the games and he also got 2 assists. Fantastic number of passes here, 65 on average per game, and 92% accuracy as well, which is fantastic. Also, Denmark managed to keep 2 clean sheets in the 2 starting games they played. In the recent qualifiers, he's played 2 games out of 3. His passing numbers do look good again, but he also showed some good goal threat as well. 31, so it could be a cheaper option. I reckon he should be starting for Denmark in the Euros, as highlighted here by 2 starts in the recent qualifiers. So I think he could definitely be a good option and potentially a cheap one as well. Another player from Denmark we've got is Simob Kjaer, who plays for Milan. In terms of the qualifying stats, he started 8 games, 0 goals but got 2 assists. Again, high passing numbers and high accuracy as well. Really does look impressive. 32, so it might be cheap, might not be as expensive as we think. And let's have a look at the World Cup qualifying stats. So he started 2 of the games, and his passing again looks decent, and the accuracy especially, and he also got 2 clean sheets in the 2 starts as well. So he does look another viable option, and it's potentially going to be a bit more expensive than Was due to him playing for Milan, but does look a very good option nevertheless. Okay, so on to Belgium defenders then. There's only one defender that I've actually picked out from the defenders in the Belgian lineup there, and that is Vertonghen. He is 34, but he's expected to play next season. Might be cheap because he is a bit older, but he is still a quality player to have in your collection there. In terms of the international stats, as you can see, some good scores again there on the SofaScore ratings. 8 starts for Denmark, and they managed to keep 7 clean sheets in those 8 starts, which is fantastic. So Belgium do look pretty solid at the back. Accuracy, 81 passes and 92% accuracy. So the number of passes per game looks fantastic. It's also got a high number of tackles per game and interceptions per game as well. So it does look a solid option. Let's have a look at the World Cup qualifying stats. Started all 3 games of the qualifiers. Again, we've got the high passing numbers and high accuracy as well, which you would expect from a centre-back. And again, some impressive interceptions and passes, tackles per game stats as well. Does look another fantastic option. Okay, that's it for the Group B players. We'll now move on to Group C. But first of all, let's have a look at that group and let's have a look at who the favourites are. As you can see here, the Netherlands are, as you would expect, heavy favourites in this group, followed by Ukraine and Austria, who seem to have the joint probability there of potentially progressing from this group. So let's have a look at the players that we've picked there. I've obviously not gone for any North Macedonia players, but we have got some players from the other teams there. So let's have a look who I've gone for. So first of all, for Austria, I've gone for Dragovic. He does play for Leverkusen at the moment, but looking at his stats in the qualifiers, he played 10 games, got an assist, showed high passing numbers again, and high pass accuracy. 3 clean sheets in those 10 games, and he's also showing good interception per game numbers and tackles per game. So it does look a good option and potentially a cheaper option as well if you're after a defender in the Euros there. So in terms of the qualifiers, the World Cup, he played 3, started all 3. He actually scored as well. And again, the passing numbers and accuracy do look impressive. And the interceptions as well look especially impressive here and also in the Euro qualifiers. So it does look a good option and potentially one of the cheaper options. But I do expect Austria to have a chance of getting a couple of results in this group and potentially even progressing. Next up is going to be an expensive option, and that is David Alaba. He's obviously leaving Bayern Munich this season by the looks of things, so he will be transferring to a different club. But it's going to be a top club anyway, where he goes. He's still only 28. He's a fantastic option for Sorare. And in terms of the qualifying, he's played 5 games, scored 1 goal. He's got good passing and accuracy as you'd expect. But his shot per game is 3.4 on average in those 5 games, which is fantastic. I think he does take the free kicks for Austria as well. And he does like to get forward as well, Alaba, as we know. So looking at the World Cup qualifiers, he played all 3 games of the qualifiers, chipped in with an assist, has a high number of key passes as well here, look, 2.7, and is again showing good goal threat as well in those World Cup qualifiers. Good passing numbers as well, and accuracy. So it does look a fantastic option, but he is likely to come at a price because of his profile. So next up then, we've got a couple of players for Holland, starting with Owen Wjindal. He does look a fantastic option for Sorare, but I expect he is very expensive. He's only 21, regular now for AZ. He's had a fantastic season with them. And he also looks to be set to be a first team starter for the Netherlands as well. He's played all 3 of the recent qualifiers. He's also got 2 assists. He's got fantastic key passes per game and also created 4 big chances. So he's really impressed in these 3 World Cup qualifiers recently. So I expect that he has a good chance of keeping his first team spot there. He's got the good passing numbers as well, and also the fantastic pass accuracy. So it does look like a fantastic option here if you're after a youth defender, not only for the Euros, but in your Sorare collection in general. It does look a fantastic option there. And next up we have Daley Blind. 31, plays for a top club though in Ajax at club level. Does look a very good option. In terms of the qualifiers, he played 7 games, 1 assist, very high number of passes, key passes, also created some big chances as well. And his pass accuracy is very impressive also. Some really good numbers here and scores on SofaScore, as you can see. And in terms of the World Cup qualifiers recently, started all 3 games, kept a clean sheet in there. We had an average of 97 passes per game and 92% accuracy. So again, it does look another fantastic option. So that's the ones from Group C. So now we will be moving on to Group E. So let's first of all again look at the favourites for that group. So the favourites in this group are Spain, followed by Poland, then we have Sweden, and last but not least is Slovakia. So I've managed to find a couple of decent players in the Spain and Poland squad on this group. So let's have a look who I've gone for. So for Poland, I've picked out Bartosz Bereszylski. 28-year-old who plays for Sampdoria, which is of course one of the new teams that's recently come onto the platform. Now in terms of his club level, it might not be that fantastic because obviously Sampdoria are not one of the better teams on there. But in terms of his country, it does look very good and his numbers do look impressive as well. So he started 6 games in the European qualifiers and also kept 5 clean sheets in those 6 games. His interceptions and tackles per game look very impressive. So it does look a decent option, and I reckon you might be able to get this guy cheap. If you're after a cheap defender for the Euros, I think this is a good option, because I think Poland do have a chance of getting a couple of results in their group and potentially even qualifying for the next round. In terms of the World Cup qualifiers, he's played all 3 games of the recent qualifiers. He also got an assist and he's showed impressive pass numbers there as well. Accuracy is also over 80%, which is good. And again, is showing some fantastic tackles per game. So it does look a very solid option for Poland. So that's it for Group E. We will now move on to what's known as the Group of Death, and that is Group F. So first of all, we'll look at the teams in that group and see who's the favourites. So here it is then, the Group of Death. So we've got Germany, France and Portugal in this group. Portugal look the least favourite, apart from Hungary of course. But Portugal look the least favourite out of those 3 big teams there in that group. So it could be a pretty tight group. So some of the players I've selected here are all from Germany, France. I've not selected anybody from Hungary. for obvious reasons. So let's start then with the first selection. So first up we've got Niklas Sule. Only 25, bit of a monster this guy. Don't know if you've seen him in real life, but he's about 6'5" and he's built like a brick. Well, you know the rest. But yeah, he plays for Bayern as well, so it's going to be an expensive option. But it's fantastic for Bayern Munich and also fantastic for his country. In terms of the Euros, started 6 games, high passing numbers, 79, and a fantastic 95% accuracy. 2.2 interceptions per game and 4.2 clearances per game, which looks very, very impressive. And if you look at his scores here on SofaScore, they look fantastic. And his heat map as well tells the story a bit. He seems to be all over the pitch. He does play as a defensive defender, but he can play as a defensive midfielder and a right back as well. So he does look a very versatile player for all Germany, and I expect him to start a majority of the games in the group of death. Next up then, we've got French international Benjamin Pavard. He did start off the season a little bit slowly, Pavard, this season, but he has got into his stride as the season's gone on, and he is a fantastic option for your Sorare collection. He of course plays for Bayern. He's only 25, and in terms of the national team, he's started 7 games in the qualifiers, got 1 assist, but he does show good passing accuracy and passing numbers as well. He does like to get forward, as highlighted by the heat map here, so he always got a chance of creating chances for his teammates, or even potentially getting on the score sheet himself. In terms of the World Cup qualifiers, the more recent matches there, he's started 2 of the games and is showing again these fantastic passing numbers, 79 passes, which is fantastic for a right back, and 89% accuracy as well to boot. So it does look a really good option, and as highlighted here, he's got 2.5 key passes there, so he does create chances for his teammates when he does get forward up the pitch. Now, last but not least, we've got Pavard's teammate, and that is Raphael Varane. 28-year-old, he has got a few links to Manchester United and a few other clubs now as well, so he could potentially be on the move in the summer. But it's going to be to a big team, I would have thought. He's certainly not going to go to a lower team than he's currently at. So in terms of the qualifiers, Euro qualifiers, his SofaScore ratings look fantastic. 9 started, 2 goals as well, and 1 assist. It's also shown again fantastic passes per game, 91% accuracy, and he also kept 4 clean sheets as well in those 9 starts. In the recent World Cup qualifiers, started 2 of the games, and again it's shown very, very, very good passes per game, and the accuracy is also looking fantastic. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video, then tap that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to be informed about any new videos, because of course next week I'll be doing midfielders. And then last but not least, I'll be highlighting forwards as well for the Euro 2021 Summer Tournament. There's also a link in the description below to Sorare. If you've not signed up yet, you can do that and get those all important free cards. Okay, that's it for today. I'll hopefully see you again soon.